Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Devlog 3. Today's devlog will be a form of tutorial, showing you how to create a main menu. Main menu will consist of 3 buttons, a play, settings and a quit button. Settings will have this slider, and if you press play it will go to the game. Alright, let's get started. So if you don't have already, have 2 scenes. One will be your main menu scene and one will be your game scene. Here, for the game scene, I just have a panel just showing this in the game. Alright, so let's go back to the main menu scene. So, just right click, UI and add canvas. After that, you want to add a panel to it. And then for the panel, we can just rename it background. And just quickly change the color of the background. Let's go for this greenish dark color. Just a bit darker. Yeah, like that. Alright, next we will need 3 buttons. So let's just first start with creating the first one. So you go back to UI. You can say button, text mesh pro button. And then let's just rename this to being the play button. And then then we can change the text element of the button. So let's just say play. Alright. And then let's also rename this to the play text. So then for the play text, I think let's just make it a bit bigger. So you can just slide it across like this and then resize it. If you hold it, and then when you want to resize, if you hold Alt, it will change in all 4 directions. Yeah, that looks good. And let's move it a bit up. Perfect, just like that. Then let's go down. Here you can center your text, center line and height, and you can make it bold if you want. You can also change your font. Then for the colors, I like to add a color gradient. To create the color gradient, you can just say create, and then you go to Text Mesh Pro, color gradient. Now we can just rename this and just say gradient. There we go. So here you have 4 blocks. Top left is corresponding to top left, so let's make that like a bright orange, almost like a yellow. Let's copy the code, the color code, and paste it in the top right corner, just like so. And then for the bottom left, I think let's go for a more deeper orange, like this. Let's copy the code again and paste it in the bottom right corner. Alright, so now let's go back to the text, and then here's the gradient. Now you can just drag and paste it in, just like that. Okay, you can see, you still see nothing, so just make sure you change those vertex colors. And then let's go to this color and let's make the transparency basically 0. Then we can change the highlighted color of the button. So it means when you hover over it, it will just. So let's copy this background code. So I want it to be the same, but like a bit darker when you hover over it. So just make the base button color the same, and then let's just go a bit darker like this. And then transparency, just make it a bit lighter. Alright, so let's copy that code, and then for the rest button color, you can just paste this code in there again and just make the transparency just a little bit lighter than the highlighted. Then don't forget to change the base color and just make its transparency like 0. It's full. Then you press play, let it load. See, now if I hover over the button, it goes darker. If I click on it, okay, perfect. So now let's duplicate these and let's make we can just say Ctrl D to duplicate, and let's move it a bit down, and then the third button even more. Here we go. Alright, so then the second button we will change. This will be our settings button. Just say settings button, and then the text we just also make settings, like so. Okay, now we just need to make the button size. You can just change here the width just a little bit more. It fits in. Alright, and then the display text, let's just rename it to settings text. And then lastly, the quit button. So just also rename this. There we go. To quit button, and then play text. Just make it quit text. Just so that we have better references later. So then this we also have to quit, and there we go. Okay, now that all three buttons are ready, let's start getting the settings menu. So first let's create an empty object. We'll call this main menu. Let's select or close these three buttons, select them, and then drag them into your main menu. So let's just put this here on top. Okay, so see, you have to like just make your hierarchy correctly. So let's just move the background on top of the main menu. There we go. Let's create another empty game object, and we'll call it settings menu. So now let's just quickly rename this. Let's just remove that too. Okay, and let's duplicate this button and bring it into the settings menu, and move that again. So now we have two game objects. So let's say we disable the main menu, and let's just have the settings menu. Okay, so the reason why we can't see it is because the settings menu is not a child of the canvas. So let's just drag it a bit up like so. Now we can see it. So the settings menu will pop out and when the main menu is disabled. Okay, so let's work on this settings menu. Let's add a UI text mesh pro element of text, and if you don't have text mesh pro, it's just a new package manager. You can just search for it, install it, and then just import the essentials. Alright, so this text, let's just give it settings text, and we'll just pop it up here. That's the title of the page, so let's just rename it to settings. Just make it a bit bigger, well, not that big. There we go, and just make the width a bit larger, like so. And let's move it to the center like that, and then let's add again that color gradient project. We just drag, drop it into there like so. So then the following, we should create a UI and a slider. And there we go. Slider is there, and we can just scale. Okay, just move the X scale a little bit, and then we can just rescale it. Remember to hold Alt, and then when you're satisfied, just like that. Okay, so now we have a slider, and we can just edit the slider. So let's go to the background color, and for the background color we can just make it, I don't know, let's see, maybe dark black. Yeah, that looks good. So let's leave it to that. Let's just move the slider to the middle, and the fill area, we can customize the fill and its color. Let's say, yeah, let's make it orange. That looks good. And now let's customize this handle, and the handle's color, we'll just make it a baby blue, something like this. Okay, that looks good. So now if you press play and it loads, slider isn't programmed or anything, but you can just see it functions like a slider. Then you can just drag it along and we can get the values later in the code. Now this quit button, we don't want it to be quit, but rather let's rename it to back, as it will be going back to the main menu. And then the text, let's just rename it to back text, like so, and just change it also here in the editor to back. So now let's set up this back button. So by pressing back, we want the settings menu to be disabled and then the main menu to enable. That is the principle of it. So let's re-enable settings menu. Let's go to the back, and then here on click you can give it a function. So you can drag the main menu into there, and as function you can just say game object to set active. There we go, set active ball, and we can make it true. And then we also want the settings menu to be the opposite. So game object set active ball to false, like so. So let's quickly test it out. So press play, let it load. So now if we press back, we'll see it works. Okay, so now let's do the same for the settings button basically. So let's put the settings menu off now. Let's re-enable the main menu. Let's go to the settings button. We go to on click. We want the main menu this time, and also set like settings menu. So for the main menu we want the game object set active to be false, and then settings menu to be true. So let's press play and test it out. Let load. So that's it. So we press settings, we'll go here. Slider still works. If we press back, we'll go back here. Okay, so that fully works. So now that those two buttons are done, let's start working on the play button. So let's go into play button, let's add a component, and we'll just make a new script, which will be the main menu script. I'm going to say an add script. And just wait it to load. Script is quickly just compiling. Alright, so now you can see in your project you have a script. What I like to do is just make a folder for my scripts, and then let's drag this main menu script into it. Now let's open it up. So now in Visual Studio we can just delete the update and start function, because we don't need that. We'll be creating our own functions. So let's make it a public function, public void, and we'll call it play game. And then let's have another function, which will be another public void, and we'll just say quit game. Okay, so let's just first do the quit game. So to quit a game, you will call application dot quit, and just remember this does not work in the editor. It only works once your game is built. So let's just save it, wait for the script to compile again. So now at the quit button, you can see you can just say add. Let's so you see we put the script on the wrong part, so it must not be on the play button itself. So let's remove that. Let's say remove component. There we go. We want it on the main menu, so we can just drag that into here. So now at the quit button, on click, we can just drag main menu, like so, and then we can call our own function here. We just go to the main menu script and just call the function, quit game, like so. Now it's important to have all your scenes, so let's just quickly go to build settings. So you see we only have one scene, which is the main menu. So we need to add that game scene. So just go to our assets and go into the game one, save. Let's go to file, file settings, and we can say add open scene, and then we can see its index is scene 1. So that's the scene we will be calling when we press the play button. So let's go back to Visual Studio, and in the play game function we will be calling it. So first we need to add using Unity Engine dot scene management. This allows Unity to control scenes. So in the play game we can now call the scene manager dot load scene, and then we can just give that index of your game scene, which was 1. There we go. Now we can just say save, and let's go back to Unity, let compile. So now we just have to hook up the play button, so we can go to its on click, we drag in the main menu, and then we go to the main menu functions and we hook up play game. So if we hit play now, let it load, and if we press play, you'll see we go to the game. There we go. And so as you guys know, I'm also working on my own 2D platformer game, where I now added the same main menu that I showed you guys how to make. Also in the settings I added many functionalities which a game will need, like different resolution options and also a full screen option. Also the graphics can be low, medium or high, and also a volume setting. So also in the play I added a pause menu, which can then bring you back to the main menu. If you guys are interested in learning how to make these, just let me know. Thank you for watching and see you guys next time.